Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. Now, some of you would argue that I've made a lot of videos. Why am I making all these videos for my story? Well, soon, on this trajectory, they'll have killed me, okay? And they're filming me, and they're doing things in a way that shows that they don't want me to make videos that people understand. And so I'm trying to make it so you understand. That's a part of it. They're very, very dumb people, right? They're not very smart. They think that other videos would magically be more interesting. Why would they be more interesting? I mean, maybe if you're not human, because look, what is the definition of a human, right? Human and humanity, right? A person who has a certain amount of sense, right? You know, you're like brain dead if you don't have a certain amount of sense. You're an airhead, you're a dumb fuck, and that's not quite being human. It's like being a subhuman, being a dumbass, no sense, airhead, groupie, right? You're not human. You're not an individual. You don't have your individuality. You don't have your humanity. Okay, so when we look at this and we see everyone, flocking to a concert, or, they just go to a birthday party and just blend in. They just play a role, right? You're like a robot, a puppet. And again, that's not a human. I'm not trying to insult anybody, but people need to understand these things, to understand why I'm making these videos. And one of the core arguments they argue that in their opinion, they think people are better off serving pedos, playing a role, okay, being complicit with all the horrible things in the world, instead of doing what is right all the time. My videos are also evidence, for the time being, that I'm doing what is right all the time. It's evidence to God, to myself, what have you. It overkills it. What more could God ask of me in a world where everyone's a brain dead idiot? When I've tried to talk to people in person, okay, I've given them my card, they never called. One person who was like a military female, it turned out, right, was the only person who kind of called back, and they were not very serious. She said, well, I texted you, here's my number, and there was no kind of sincerity there. So people have communicated to me. When I've tried to talk to them, just when they work at a store or something, they've say, hey, how are you doing? I say, oh, hi, how are you doing? And they went quiet, which communicated that they didn't want to talk to me, that they're not allowed to talk to me. I've had somebody say, somebody else say that they're not allowed to talk to me. And as I look, I see people who look like they're in cults, and they're keeping their head down. You see the signs of who's going to respond to you and who isn't. For example, if I went to a Klan meeting, would I expect them to respond? No. If I went to a sorority, no. If I went to, a feminist meeting, no. If I went to a meeting of Republicans, if I went to a church after they, were released, if I was in a parking lot in California, you don't expect them to hear you out. Okay, if this female just rolled up, for example, she has her sunglasses, a newer car, she has a certain Jewish kind of quote-unquote empowered way about her, do I expect her to respond? No. There's another person, the two people in the parking lot right now that I see are Jews. He's getting into his vehicle, it happens to be an Audi, and he's an older Jewish gentleman, kind of craftsman-like, scientific-like. He's not going to respond either, because it's mentality, right? Ment meaning mind, like in the word mentality. So they think I should be another puppet, another lemming, walk the broad path to destruction, waste my life, especially after they've clashed with me and prevented me from having dates with women that, would obey God. They prevented me from being married, having my own place. You think that I should reward them by having the top martial artists ever possible follow the worms who are dumb enough to persecute the top martial artists ever possible without cause, without any benefit to themselves? They play a stupid frat-like cult game of screen out the righteous like the Klan. I mean, what the fuck, right? Their arguments are insane. They are insane. Their core deity Zeus, whose counterpart is Set and Jupiter and Baal, okay? A young Zeus is Dionysus, who's a deity of ritual madness. They're in a ritual manner driving themselves insane. Just because, like with an autistic person who's very much out of touch with reality, they can focus on a task and invent something, or get, do a lot of homework and get a fancy degree, that doesn't mean shit. Okay, many crazy people can do shit like that. But to have the sense to make arguments that no one has a viable counter-argument for, okay, about how to be the most righteous person ever, how to live a superior life, And to be the only one who's living that, only I can accomplish that. So again, that's a huge part of my life story. So you'll see it in a lot of videos. You'll see it in my story from here and there. But to include these things in a playlist that reflects this, even if no one watches that playlist, is doing God a great service, doing myself a great service. And for them to interfere as groups, as formations, as individuals, as the governing class, they're doing their groups and their families a disservice. Part of spiritual sparring, if you will, is making moves and taking advantage of your enemy's moves. Okay, so when I made this noble move and they respond with a completely despicable move that will forever be on their souls and their family souls, then I've outmaneuvered them. And that's caused them that much more harm. Either you obey God or your disgrace increases. Either you obey God through me, which is the only way to obey God, or your pitiful kind of, Jewish racist mocker way about you, your Klan way about you if you're a Republican, the way about you increases. You look like scum who are hooked to a machine trying to desperately to seem superior to other people, who only date scum. I mean, it doesn't get much worse than that. And that's just part of your problem. You've been outmaneuvered like you wouldn't believe. Okay, I'm striking with your own fists. You people are fucking way out of control. Your lack of self-control mocks the hell out of anything you want to pretend is a great achievement or even an achievement of note. You don't understand life. You don't understand romance, martial arts, religion. You don't understand governance. You don't understand how to be a father, how to be a man. You lack the discipline to be a man. That's why the Bible says two things that you should write down. They should be on the screen already. One, that the body without the spirit is dead. And faith without works is dead, right? And two, those who rebel against God are like dung on the ground. And that's why the word set is a play on words for shit, and the word trash is a play on words for the letter R, which makes the same sound as R, who you are, and shit. Vowels are interchangeable, right? The SHAT becomes SHIT. The SETH becomes SHIT. So set, is just a piece of shit. And all who rebel against my leadership are Setians. They're foreign to the martial art order. They're living by the principles of evil, which is the core kind of characteristic of the spirit of Set, who you might say is the devil. But when you say the devil, it confuses the hell out of things. First of all, there's not much about the devil in the Bible. There's lots about Set in Egyptian mythology. And a lot of times they twist it, but you can still see what they're getting at. The jackal, the hippo, the deer, okay, the aardvark, the snake, the various forms of Set, right? The boar, okay, they're very much like Americans, for example, right? For the most part, obviously I was born here, but I'm not really an American because my heart is not with America. My spirit is not the American spirit. What have you? The American spirit, everyone knows, is evil. I mean, what the hell? American Pie, the song American Woman, right? Scary movie, nearly identical to American Pie. It's about a bunch of psychopaths who act like American Pie frat guys. They lack the heart to be different from silly, psychotic serial killers like the Riddler, the Joker, what have you. Jigsaw. That's that ritual madness. That's that sickness. And the word ritual is a play on words for right you lay. Okay? And lay you right. Okay, so you go crazy and you start sleeping with people that you shouldn't be sleeping with, and you start being married if you're getting married in a spirit you shouldn't be in. Think very carefully about the spirit that different people marry people in. Rockers, jocks, emos, goths, rap groupies, pop star groupies, Lady Gaga groupies, corporations, English royals, so-called European royals. What spirits are they in? Are they dedicated to God? No. Are they all trying to, split the pie of ill-gotten gains and just find their life like some desperate parasitic worm? Think about it. And so obviously the word waste is a play on words for waste set. Okay. So how can you people whose own cultures, whose own languages, whose own wordplay, the wordplay is like the core scale, the core explanation for all their cultures, okay? Because it's grouped together, right? The United States of mind as a result of cultures that come together to create a certain picture, a certain nation, what have you. But it's every nation in the world, right? So your own cultures tell you that you're a piece of shit if you go along with those cultures. And how much more the essence of those cultures, which are the people governing them. You know, if the servant is a piece of shit, the master is the essence of a piece of shit if the servant is following the master's formula, the master's intention for that person. And that's what you see here. They want things to go this way. They have millions of people helping them out. And if they were magically not trying to get this output, then what the hell's wrong with them? If they have millions and millions and millions of people helping them social engineer, why would they fuck up this bad? You see what I'm saying? And why wouldn't they step down and let me be in charge immediately? So no matter how you slice it, they're the essence of a piece of shit. Can you imagine being dumb enough to reproduce with them? But they're rich and they have some secret society title. You can imagine being that fucking stupid. Two dumb pieces of shit do not produce a child worth having. I promise you that.